please like and subscribe.
Welcome back to another Crypto Bros
And Holly Girl.
podcast, number 83 again.
Oh, I thought you were gonna bomb it. For some reason, I was like, he already forgot.
I didn't think he was going to
Oh.
bomb it, but I think it's hilarious that when we get ready to record, that Greg's like, this is his face.
Mm-hmm.
Then he goes,
Oh, we get any like perks,
and
right?
then he's like, welcome back to another episode.
You know?
And his radio voice comes through. No, yeah, for sure. Welcome
trigger.
back. And welcome back, Holly, because
Yes,
you were
thank you.
missing.
Welcome back, Mr. Cotter.
You know,
That
yeah,
reference is too
I
old for
thought,
most
like-
of our listeners.
I know.
that is true.
Yeah.
I had like major FOMO when you guys did it without me last week. I was like, man, I wonder what they're talking about. But you guys did so good. And I enjoyed it so much watching it.
Well, so did the other 42 people that paid attention.
That's all right. 42.
Another 42.
people.
That's
Let's
most-
get it right. 35. The rest was like family members.
Yeah. One of them was me
Right.
just on my phone, just sitting over here letting
Right.
it play. Yeah.
None of my family members. My
Yeah.
family don't watch it.
My wife actually
No.
asked me the other day, she's like, how come you don't put my phone on when I go to sleep and play through your guys' stuff on YouTube? I was like, because I finally figured out that it doesn't matter. Your one view is not going to matter at all. So I'm not even worried about it. So, but you know, that we all know that's not the point for us. It's about having a good time and talking through some stuff. And I really want to get to our possibly main point of discussion today, because there's so much to talk about. The barbershop
All right.
made a return to Twitter
We did.
Spaces, to X Spaces. Do we call them X Spaces now? That sounds weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
That does sound.
I
like
wasn't
it.
able to get up and speak in the space, but I did listen to hour number 2. I couldn't be there at 1. First off, Holly, why don't you tell the people kind of what it was about and why it came about, and then we'll kind of get into some of the conversation.
You know, honestly, it's been a long time since we decided to shut down the barbershop. And we have people who actually really enjoy it because we allow an open dialogue. It's, we don't really put a limit on who's allowed to come up, who's allowed to, be in the space. We all, still had our barbershop chat group on Twitter. And we don't talk every day by any means, but we do like to shoot the shit and just kind of talk about, things that are happening and all that. Well, it just so happened, Hayden and Jonas released their podcast, Safely to the Moon. And
I can't. All right. Stop.
We never made it to the moon.
what?
All right. We're still recording. I can't get over the name of that podcast. I just can't
it's
get over the name of it. I can't. So remind me, we need to talk about that after we talk about the barbershop. But go ahead, Holly.
Okay, so I have been very much on the fence about this podcast coming out. They put out trailers, all that good stuff, and I was just kind of like, I don't know how I feel about this. Like, is it for clout? Is it, what is it? And so in the barbershop chat, we actually were discussing that same thing. Like, what do we think it's about? Well, they released it. And so I sent it to the group and said, okay, let's see what it's about. And I think it really kind of shocked a lot of us about what they said and some answers they were given that were given in the podcast. And we will talk about that after this. But so we all decided, we have a lot to say. And we don't really have a voice anymore within this community. And even though, like, we still tweet and we're still out there, the group of us kind of started drifting away, other than Rudy. She's very much involved in the community as a whole. Like, she really is. But we're like, this is going to be fun. Let's let it all out, because what do we have to lose at this point, right? Like, we're allowed to speak our group. We decided, let's bring it back. and talk about it. And so that's what we did. We talked about it, and we talked about a lot of things that, you know, we all got to see um, by taking a step back and like really looking at everything as a whole. John being arrested, now Safemoon filing bankruptcy, like, and dissolving or decommissioning of the wallet, and it's what do people have to say? And there was actually one person in there that he just flat out said it was a gamble for him, and he's holding. He looks at people who sell as they folded, like it's a poker game. Um, I think the general consensus, I'm hoping, at least what I got from him, and I may be wrong, is that that was his choice. He wants to see it through, and he believes that there is a possibility are still holding, um, could get some money from this settlement of the bankruptcy. So, and he could be wrong. He could be right. I don't know. Like, I mean,
Hey, I'm holding.
That's just because you're too lazy to sell.
Yeah.
Maybe. No, I'm a gambler.
No, that's because
I usually use it.
You have an emotional attachment to these tokens and coins.
I'm not emotionally attached to Safemoon, I can tell you that.
That's not true.
But, well, maybe.
I died.
We'll see what happens.
Sorry to get off topic, Holly. Go ahead.
No, and so and then we allowed other people to come in and kind of have speak their piece, and some people who were labeled fudders, and I hate even saying that word now. Like they're not fudders. They're not. They're kind of right on a lot of things, but they were able to come up and really say, well, this is how it really is, and I can't remember Rooney. Who actually, or I can't remember who it was, but they actually came back and said, is it decentralized or centralized? And if it's not, and you're an investor, but he was just kind of explaining that. And, if it's truly decentralized as we're saying it is, then we're not going to get anything if you're holding. So there was just so many good points brought up on both sides where you could kind of see.
Am I going to get anything?
Oh, God, I don't know.
Not even a coffee mug, Greg. That's what I learned from the space. No coffee mugs.
Yeah.
Maybe a magnet?
I think that it is important for people to realize that the wording of things, especially in business, means a lot because different categories mean different things. And when it comes to Safemoon, the way I understand it, the way that they are listed, there will be no payouts to anyone that holds tokens.
Right.
They're not. They're going to pay the people they owe money to, and then they will do whatever they want if there's any money left over with it. So I don't know. I would say I listened to as much of the space as I possibly could. I felt like that there were some really good points. I actually felt like that there were some people there that came to peace with one another, which is always a good thing. I also think there's some people that didn't. They're still just going to be nasty. I don't know how else to put it, which is fine. I think
about Greg?
Yeah, Greg's always going to be nasty.
I was about to say the same thing about you. That's funny. You beat me to it.
But here's the deal. The one thing that I think I really, and I'll go back because the space was recorded. I'll go back. I'll listen to the first hour. But the one thing that I think I really learned in the second hour was something I had feared for a long time. And that is there were a lot of people that put more money in there than they could afford to lose.
Yes.
I think you could tell that by the tone of certain people that spoke. Obviously, we're not going to name names. I honestly can't remember all of the names. I didn't write them down. But then there were also people that invested. I still think it's an investment. Invested and lost, and they're going to be fine. Their day-to-day life isn't going to change. But I think for some of the people, their day-to-day lives did change because I think they overspent, which I heard the gambling scenario played out in the space over and over and over again. At some level, anytime you invest your money, it is a gamble. Okay. It's not the same kind of gambling for like entertainment like you would at a casino or something like that. But it is
Nope.
still gambling because you can buy Apple stock, and who's to say that the company doesn't fold tomorrow and it's worth nothing? We don't have control over that. But I would say that it was nice to hear some people. All right, truth. Just me being truthful. It was
Yeah.
it was complete chaos when I first logged on. Like there was just a bunch going on. And I almost turned it off. I almost did. I was like, oh man, this is just too much.
Right.
But then finally, when people that needed to have their voice be heard finally got out what they had to say, and even though they said it the same way, they said it multiple times, then that subsided and some real talk came out. I think the first hour was probably a lot like that. I, for one, missed the barbershop because, like you said, it was a space where you could go and you could talk about anything, and it was like hanging out with family. It was like hanging out with friends. And, we have had Hennessy on here before. Great guy. I never see him around on X anymore, except for every once in a while his name pops up that he's in some Miami Hurricane chat room or something. But we've met some really good people there. Some of the people that started following us was from the barbershop, and then we got to have relationships with them. But when it comes to Safemoon itself, I think I heard, and we were kind of, Greg and I were, and Caleb and I were talking about this while you were wrapping things up with them. What I heard over and over again was the Safemoon Army and the toxicity in the Safemoon Army, and people being maxis and all this different stuff. I don't know. I kind of feel like that is fair to a point. Okay, I get it. But I don't know, and this is going to sound really weird for a guy that is on a podcast. I don't know why people are so angry at one another for other people giving their opinions, right or wrong, because at the end of the day, each individual is responsible for where their money goes. Does that make sense? But there is direct hatred out there from some people to others. I get it when it's because people are being nasty to one another. I do understand that. But I think there was more feelings hurt than I realized because money was lost. Did you get that sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
there's a number to call if you have a problem.
Oh God. Stop it. No,
Just saying.
I think you're right, Josh. Like I even got that. Why? Because, at some point everybody's going to have to move on.
Yeah.
Move on from it all. But I know for me personally that when I agreed to do a space and to co-host, because at first I was like, you guys don't want me to co-host because, nobody likes me. And honestly, there's a lot of people who don't like me after they get to know me. And it's more than I thought. And I don't know why. I honestly don't. I wish they would come and tell me, well, Holly, you come off as this, or, and maybe I can change my ways, but I never get that.
We like you just the way you are.
Well, you get to know.
You're cutting out.
Eventually, probably, like, uh-oh. Is that better?
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let's keep rolling.
I just would, and if you...
Yeah, I can't keep rolling with it.
No.
I don't know. It's broken. I'm broken.
Now you're back.
That's working.
Apparently, it's every 7 minutes.
What?
I don't know. It happened at 7:20 and then again at 14:40. So you tell me.
And sometimes it gets clearer, and then it goes into like a staticky.
My hair? Maybe I need to do this closer.
I don't know. Well, I was thinking maybe it was the hair.
I don't know.
That's way
That sounds
better.
good.
Okay, we'll just leave it just like this.
Okay, so go ahead.
I'll move.
Okay. But anyway, like that was the whole purpose, at least for me, when I agreed to do the barbershop, is get it off your chest now because we have to move on. And there's a lot of lingering feelings out there against each other, against, the Maxies, whatever, the Fudders. This is your time to air it out. Let's air it out. And the general consensus was that within the barbershop. Let's air it out.
Do you think things got resolved between people?
Possibly the main corporates of the problem, no.
Okay.
No, and the reason why is because they wouldn't even bother joining the space or having the guts or the what I would like to say, the balls to come up and face it and say, this is the problem. And this is why we did this to you. This is why, had I never been exiled out of the Safemoon Army or whatever you want to call it, my tune may be different. But it's not. They forced me to see the light, so thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I think, too, that one of the things that came out of that for me was that I realized I already was over it. Because I could see so many people weren't. And I was like, I don't feel that way. I was like, it's over, it's done. I am over. Yeah. So you're talking about not being able to call fudders, right? So my question then is, and maybe it's more of a statement, is I disagree with that to a point, just because I think the way that people went about, there's a lot of people coming out right now saying, hey, I was just trying to educate you. Okay, that's not how you educate people. You don't go and start calling people by name or calling people names and being basically a jerk. That's not, people don't listen to you when you speak that way. So you may have had, maybe you believed different things before other people believed different things, but I still think there's an amount of FUD, just meaning that, yes, there was information that came out. We had conversations behind the scenes from time to time where I'm like, I don't really know. I have to take it at face value, but that just doesn't seem right, Right. But I didn't come on and call you an SOB and go, you suck, Holly, and blah, 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 and block you and tell everybody else how much you sucked and all this stuff. Because why would you listen to one another when you talk that way, right? If you're trying to get your point across and if I'm trying to talk Greg out of doing something that I know is going to be harmful for him, if I come at him with violence or just malice, he's going to take a step back, and his first thing is going to be like, what's wrong with that dude? But if I went up to him and I said, hey, brother, listen, here's what I've learned. Here's what I know. You do with it whatever you want, but I'm telling you there's something wrong here. He might actually listen to that, right? He might actually go, maybe he digs into it a little bit deeper. Because there's always things out there, especially, since we're talking about Safemoon, there were some things that I was like, man, that doesn't really make sense, but okay. These people are smarter than me, right? It was a hugely successful project. Yeah, they still are, Greg, because they got away with a lot of money. Well, I don't know if they got away with it or not, because the consequences are coming.
Oh, yeah.
But these people now that want to be holier than thou and say, well, I told you from the get-go that this was a scam. You did say some of that, and everything that they're saying they said now is not true. But you did it with such
malice.
Yeah, malice that no one was going to listen to you. I don't care what you were talking about.
Right. And to me, it's like, I'm no longer going to call those fudders. I'm going to call those people assholes because that's what they are.
There you go.
That's the honest, I don't know, another way to say it. Like, you're not just fudding, because if you think about what FUD is, it's putting fear into, uncertainty, whatever. Doubt. There you go. Into something about your investment or anything in life. You're putting doubt and the fear into you.
You can FUD anything. So, yes.
Exactly. So whatever you're saying, that's fine, but how you go about it is making you just an asshole.
Well, yeah. Hey, great point, Ollie.
Amen.
Because you are right. But that's why things like Futter's tears made me cringe.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? because all of a sudden, some of the things didn't start to add up, and then we get merch like Holly's pointing out right now, and I'm like, not only does the timing not seem right on this, but to actually, I don't know, like almost like throw a counterattack at the people that are attacking you. A lot of times when that happens in business, anyways, it's because you're in the wrong, and you have fear now that what's been going on is gonna come out. And so I don't know. Here's the thing when it comes down to it, I think we can all agree with it, and then we can move on unless somebody's got something else to say about it. Did we or did we not all learn a lot in the last 2 years or however long it's been for the sake of
a ton?
Yeah.
A ton.
Some good, right? Like we learned people's intentions. We knew there's more people out there that now I know that I can trust. There are also people out there I know I can't trust. Like there's no way.
Right.
We did get friends out of it and things like that.
Right.
But I thought there was a good point made in the conversation when somebody said, well, I didn't lose. I got friends out of the deal. And other people here were like, I was here for the money. We all were here for the money at some level. The friendships, us becoming friends with Holly was something that was like bonus, right? It was like, it was gravy, right? It was extra. And that was, if you would have told me that, hey, that's going to cost you this many thousands of dollars to meet Holly and she's going to be your friend, I probably would pay that now, but I wouldn't have done it in the beginning because I didn't know who Holly was, right? And it just so happened that did bring us together. But let's not kid ourselves that we didn't initially get into this for anything other than we thought it was a good investment. We thought we were going to make money. So when people are angry about it, I think it's okay. We have to be okay with that anger, but we can still treat people in a certain way when we communicate that anger that shows that, hey, it's going to be all right, but I learned and I'm not getting taken advantage of again.
Well, and that's the thing. Like I said it actually in the first hour before you even got in there. I honestly lost more money being on Twitter than I did before I was on Twitter.
For sure.
I 100% made money, a lot of it, before I even stepped foot into Twitter and the realm of crypto. I was getting it from word of mouth from other people, and I didn't have any outside or any inside influence on any of the projects. Like, for instance, I made a lot of money on something called Little Baby Rabbit. I knew nothing about it. It just happened to be in the bull run at the time, and it skyrocketed, and I made my money. I didn't know anybody on Twitter following, Little Baby Rabbit, and I didn't look into it, and I didn't see the feelings involved. And so for me, Twitter was more about the friendship and the getting to know people than it was about the money.
Well, and I think
Safemoon. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say you nailed it because that's the same thing with me and ETH. When I made the majority of my money in ETH, I was not hearing like rumors and things about what was next for ETH, what was going to happen. And, you don't want to sell now because it's going to hit $8,000. I was lucky enough to buy it at I forget exactly what it was, but right around 2,000 and sold it at like 47 and made a lot of money doing that. But if I'd have been on Twitter at that time, I think there's a good chance it would have started to go way down and I would have hung on because people are like, oh, no, it's okay. We're still in the bull market.
Diamond hands.
Yeah,
Diamond
but it wasn't. There was Twitter and X kind of puts the emotion into the trading for a lot of people. But when it came to that, there was no emotion. I was just watching charts and I was like, my gut tells me that it's about at the top. And it actually went up a couple $100 more from where I sold. But then it went down to, I don't know, somewhere around $1,200-$1,300, whatever it was. If I would have been on X, I might still be holding that same ETH, waiting for it to get to where I bought it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a very valid point. Go ahead, Greg.
I was gonna say, I don't think I've ever bought any crypto based off anything I've seen on X. I do the research. You got to do the research. If you're going to buy into something, at least look at the website.
I can't
at least
say
go to
that,
the website.
I can't say that because I did get into the M protocols. And the only reason I would have ever known about them was because of X. I mean, we had Don Bailey on here before and things like that. And Gotti was a friend of the program. But I would have never met them if it wasn't for X. So it wasn't directly because, like, I saw a post.
Oh, that's what I meant.
Yeah. But,
right. Not the emotional because somebody said, hey, do this or buy in.
But without X,
you became aware of it.
We would have never known about it, right? We would have never bought into the protocols. So
right, like I've gotten far into I guess the Safemoon ecosystem because of Twitter, honestly, and because of the friendships I made through Safemoon, being in the Safemoon community or whatever you call it at this point. That's how word of mouth within that, rather than word of mouth from like my friend down the street or my little brother, who. And so you follow along those projects and you make your decisions based off of emotion. And there's really no way out of that. If you get involved in a community, it's really hard to keep your emotions out of it.
Well, how many times did you buy $100 or something because it was tied to the Safemoon ecosystem? You know what I mean? I think, and I don't mean exactly $100, but you know what I'm saying. Like you throw a little bit at something because why not? Because it's part of the ecosystem, we saw the whole fiasco with X Studios, right? And things like that. And it went away from the ecosystem and then it divided people that at one time were friends. I don't know. I just think that emotional aspect of it, I don't feel like there's a place for it whenever you're trading. No. When you're investing, the emotion part of it, okay, there's a place for it, but not if you're trying to make money. That's just where I'm at with it.
Yeah, yeah, especially projects that, I don't know, that you are, friends with people inside. It's really hard. I don't know. Mm-hmm. That's why, like, I've gotten into projects that nobody even knows about because I don't want to talk about it. I just want to see if I can do it on my own. Mm-hmm. And I've made some, I've made and positioned myself into like making some really good money so far. Random things that I do see on Twitter. I just don't tell anybody. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously you guys don't know. Like there's this one that launched yesterday. I won't say the name. Well, I will say the name because I mean, it's called X Payments. Like it skyrocketed, and for some reason I was like, I'm just going to sell it now. And the only reason I found out about it is because somebody had tweeted out who's going to make X Payments contract. And so I looked it up on Dex Screener, and sure as shit, there was one that had just launched, and I was like, oh, I'm doing it.
Well, let's see what happens. You did research. You went down that hole and looked.
No, and like I got, but you know what? Honestly, in a lot of these projects, if you get in, get out, you can make money. And if we want to say that's what we're here for, I'm making my money. Yeah. I'm going to continue to do it, So
that's your scenario though, right? Like
exactly.
So, but I know like when I was in my early 20s, my money, I knew it was going to be put into different things for 20 years. I wasn't trying to trade candles. There was going to be some ups, but that was going to be put aside. Now I'm in a different position of where I don't know. I don't know how to say it. I don't want to come off being conceited or anything like that. I don't know. Anyways,
say it.
I have enough money.
Just say it.
Okay. I have enough money. I don't need to worry about making $100 today from a green candle or $5,000 a day from a green candle. So I am taking the opposite approach of you, and we can still be friends, by the way, just so everybody knows that's okay. And I'm only in blue chips right now. So we were talking, I've let this be known that I was making a recurrent investment into Bitcoin, and then it hit me for what I'm trying to accomplish. That doesn't make any more sense to me. So I've changed that into SHIB because of the potentials that are there and the amount of years that I'm willing to leave it in there. Because I'm in a different spot than, say, Greg is because of age. And he owns a Millennium Falcon. So,
Yeah.
You didn't know that was a Millennium Falcon?
He's building it right now.
I bought it off Doge with Doge, yeah.
But do you understand?
Yeah.
You guys know where I'm coming from,
Completely
though,
do.
right? Like everybody has
Yes.
different. You know, when they sit down and they talk to you about
Right.
reinvesting for retirement and different things, they always ask you
yeah.
a bunch of questions because it's not a one size fits all. It's just not.
Right.
So will I always have my ears open, or will I always be checking some of these other projects and being going, maybe I'm,
Of course.
now my position's changed a little bit. I've made some more money in some of these blue chips. I'm going to take some of that, and I'm just going to, and for me, it would be gamble on that and
that's
see if
exactly
I can
what it is for me.
100x it. And if not, it doesn't matter.
Right.
But that's
And
where
that's-
I think we all have learned in the last couple of years that we want to put everybody in the Safemoon Army like we're all the same. We're all in the same spot, and we're not.
So different.
I
We're
mean, we
so
know
different.
for a fact there's people in it that, are in their early 20s and people that are probably in their 60s, and everybody is, maybe you own your house, maybe you don't own your house, maybe you own your cars, maybe you don't own your cars. It's all different. And so it's instead of trying to fit into that bubble, I think everybody just needs to find their niche, and everybody needs
Yes.
to go, this is what financially I am looking at. Like, what do I need to do for me? Because Caleb and I are very similar in age, but we may not be in the same spot of what we have the same goals or what kind of returns we need out of what we're doing. So I do, to kind of tie it all back together, I do think some of that came out in the space from what I heard, like the second hour only.
Yeah.
But because I could hear, I'm pretty good at reading people, and I could hear the desperation in some of the people's voices. And I hate hearing desperation in people's voices. But I could also hear the others where they're more like me, where they're like, it happened, it's over, who cares? Because they're in a different spot. So I think just word of the wise, know what your strategy is and stick to your strategy. And if that means you don't invest in crypto at all, cool. If that means you're only in XRP, and I just throw that out there for a name, cool. If you want to get into every
That's a good
project on the BSC chain, cool for you too. I hope it works out. But
Just when you put your eggs in one basket, it can be bad.
Bite you in the ass. Don't do it.
Yeah, I mean, we all are all over the place. I got investments all over on different chains. I mean, Safemoon is probably, that whole Safemoon bubble, maybe not even 10% of what I invested in crypto.
Right.
I'm all over the place. I'm on almost every network that's out there at some degree.
And I think that's smart. But sometimes too, let's talk about how we all got in the beginning in Doge, right? At one point, 100% of our holdings were in Doge. Okay? I think that's fair to say. I mean, at least for a day. And then, so if your entry to crypto was the Safemoon ecosystem, then I can see where you're not very diversified in the beginning.
Yeah.
And that was a token that you didn't really want to trade because of the taxes. So if you didn't have any more money to put out there, it was hard to get diversified with that token.
And most people probably thought that's the way they all were. You know what I mean?
Anybody that wasn't in any other community probably did think that. But whereas when we were first in Doge, it was buy, sell, buy more, sell, buy more, sell. And then it was like, well, I can still buy 200,000 Doge, and now I got more money left over. I'm going to buy, for me, it was Classic. It was Ethereum Classic. And different things like that. But if you started in the Safemoon ecosystem, I can totally understand why you weren't as diversified. So I just think it is a lesson there to be learned for everybody in a lot of different ways. And, we're going to keep moving forward with crypto as it evolves. I do believe we're on the doorstep of some pretty exciting things. More, with the ETFs that have come out and more regulation and just different things. I don't think what everyone wanted it to be in the beginning is what it's actually turning into. But it doesn't mean there's not a lot of money to be made out there. So, so let's go.
And that's the thing is like, and that was another factor to, the barbershop of us opening this space to kind of air it out and move on. Because if we don't move on, we're going to miss the bull run.
Yeah.
And nobody wants that. Like, I'm excited. I'm excited because I remember 4 years ago, that shit was fun.
Oh,
it was so fun. So
Yeah.
let's get back to that,
Well,
you know?
and I think so too, Holly, that unfortunately there will be people because of this that will miss the bull run, and it won't necessarily all be because they can't get over what's happening now. It's just that they got a sour taste in their mouth right off the bat, and they're not going back. It will take people a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, they've invested so much money, they don't have any more money to invest in other things.
Well, I'll be honest with you. If I had more money than I knew what to do with, and I put $5,000 into Safemoon, and it did what it did, and I had another 45 I was thinking about investing, and that's all I knew, I'm probably not going to do that. I mean, I'd have just as good odds buying lottery tickets. It's like
true. Yeah.
So it's everybody's story is different, and everybody's adventure is different, and it's just kind of what it is.
Yeah.
So
Diversify.
So let's talk about this podcast that you saw. Safely
Did
to
you
the
guys
moon.
not watch it?
No.
I didn't watch it.
Oh my
I'm giving you the opportunity to talk me into watching it right now.
So, well,
Wow.
it was
Shill
it was an
me,
hour
Holly,
long.
shill me.
I'm trying to shill you.
You know you get paid for this.
Yeah.
I'm just joking.
Oh my gosh, I had to explain myself in the barbershop today.
I heard.
That dude really thought you made money from Safemoon. Like he
He
really
did.
believed.
He
and
really
he probably
did.
still believes, but I could not believe. That was passion. Man,
That
he
was passion.
Yeah, it was.
He was certain that I was making money from Safemoon.
And he was
God.
throwing that out
Damn
there,
it.
and he was going to let that stick. All right, convince me, Holly.
Okay, so I know, like, based off the trailers and stuff, it looks like a lot of clickbait and doing it for clout and all that stuff. But the things that they had, we're talking about, it kind of, I can honestly say I can see and put myself in their shoes and understand where they're coming from on how they didn't know that things were happening. Like that the fraudulent activity was happening, like financial. They were in sales, and their job was to promote and to sell Orbital Shield and the products that they supposedly had.
Okay.
They were shown screenshots. They were shown, a demo of the exchange and of everything that were, they wanted Hayden and Jonas to sell. And so they were out there doing it. They were out there, trying to get companies to come into the swap, because if you're part of the swap, you also get access to blockchain exchange, whatever. So I truly don't think that they really saw nefarious things happening other than internal like employee issues. And I mean, we all have those in jobs, everyday job. Like there's always some little issue within an employee, but what can you do about it? Really nothing. It's management, right? It's like, and John wasn't doing anything about some of these employees. They did have one of the guys, that they found out that insider trading was happening, and they actually were the ones that got John to fire him because it was illegal. Yeah.
Did they name names?
No. And I kind of understand why they didn't and they didn't even name positions. I know who it is as well.
Yeah, well, let's not say it out loud though.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to, because I don't exactly.
Yep.
And so
I just didn't know if they
even
said it out loud. If they said it out loud, then
I
I would
would've.
have
You were
probably
going to scream it.
put more
Exactly.
stock into it. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, and I think, I'm pretty fairly certain there are legal reasons that they didn't say it. I think there's, a continuance, something going on. But anyway, Hayden, admitted that he actually did go to the police, and the police basically told him they can't do anything about what was happening.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And so then, they didn't get into the Jeep. I want to know about what happened with the Jeep in Gambia. I don't get it. Like, John stole a Jeep? What?
Yeah.
I have
Sounds like a drunk Friday night.
Right. I have heard stories like, that John got in some trouble over in the Gambia and he was no longer in the Gambia, but I didn't know it was over a Jeep. Like,
Yeah.
I never heard that. So they didn't really get into that, but they did say that this is actually episode 4 that they released first, and then they're going to go back and they already have 3 others recorded.
Huh.
So and that was
Why?
just kind of get some of the outstanding questions on, because they really focused a lot on the reason that they worked there, even though they didn't know what was happening. But when they, were let go or quit or whatever, they gave it some time before they came out and said anything, because of the legal. Safemoon apparently has been being investigated since late 2021. And
Okay.
so they didn't know what they could and couldn't say. They actually went to a lawyer and asked what they can and can't say and got direction that way. And that's why they did the podcast.
So is this podcast about clearing their name?
I think it's telling funny stories about what happened, and kind of just telling their side of what happened when working with Safemoon
Okay.
or within Safemoon. I really, honestly, like, I know, some people are saying like clout and stuff, and they kind of did say this in the podcast as well. Hayden, or not Hayden, but Jonas's wife is a freaking Olympian. She won a silver medal in the Olympics, and they have their own podcast. He does his own thing. I mean, they're pretty like out in public. They don't need the clout. Like what would you need the clout for?
But sort of, because I don't know who his wife is, but I know who he is. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a different
Yeah.
or different people that you're attaching to. But
Oh, see, and
with
I'm
you.
like
I'm not.
all about his wife. Like, she's awesome. Like,
Yeah.
I've watched
And she
her
might be.
podcast. She's amazing.
And here's the thing: they may be outstanding people too, right? I think the problem that it rubs me the wrong way, and I think it rubs other people the wrong way too, is the timing, because it comes off as, "Hey, Safemoon's in the news again, probably for the last time, and let's cash in on it."
I get that.
That's how it comes off. Right off the heels of some people losing enormous amounts of money. And that's where it rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah.
And one, hey, it crashed and burned. I get the way company. I've been in the corporate sector most of my life. I understand how things that happen in this office. These people don't necessarily always know everything, and
No.
and there might be 6 or 7 or 100 different branches off of whatever company, but the timing sucked. I mean, for me, that's where it's at.
I get that. I get that, but I also, and they did, I want to say they touched on this as well in the podcast. There was also, I mean, what, a year since they left until now? They didn't know what they could and couldn't say. They said they would have came out a year ago with this information, but they weren't allowed. And they were scared to because of the NDAs. They didn't know the law. Like, I get that the timing kind of is crazy, but at the same time, to get people to listen to you or to your truth, it was kind of the perfect time.
I get it to a point, and listen, and I don't
Yeah.
hate these guys, okay? I don't have hate for them or anything like that. I just know from listening and from the people that we interact with how much people are hurting right now. And I think the tone in the first podcast, or at least the snippets
Trailer?
that the trailer could have been a little different. Instead of
And
does that make sense? And
complete sense.
and my opinion doesn't mean any more than anybody else's opinion. That's just where I'm at on it. I probably will go watch it just to see what they have to say. At some level, I hope it's entertaining. I mean, Caleb and Greg and I have
think
talked
so.
for years about we should have done this when we worked at our plumbing company. People would not believe the stories that we could tell about what was going on there, But so I get it. Like, it would be entertaining, and you would have that niche of people that would be like, "Oh yeah, man, I was a plumber. That makes sense. I've heard things like that, or whatever, or the behind the scenes things, whatever it is." I get it. It just seemed like the timing was wrong. I also give them a little bit of grace for the fact that they have not been there for a while, and they did not know that the bankruptcy and the arrest and all that stuff was going to happen, and I'm sure they didn't just plan this. Okay, let me ask you. You've seen it. Does it look like it was thrown together in a week, or does it look like something that they've been thinking about for a while?
Well, to me, it looks like it was very professionally done.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, it really was. They have a little studio, and I'm not sure if they're using, like, Safemoon's old studio. I don't know.
I doubt
because,
it.
like even their equipment's, like, nice and stuff, so I don't really know. But it was well thought out, and I think that they took a lot of people's questions and really gave answers as much as they could to. Because my number one question was, why now? Why all of a sudden are you willing to speak? Or why were you willing to work for a company if you knew that nefarious shit was happening? But it just so happened that the nefarious shit that was happening wasn't really illegal in terms of getting the police and the SEC involved that they knew of.
Let me say something real fast there, and I won't go into detail, but I know for a fact that there are times when things like that are happening that even when you do know it, maybe you don't know how deep it is or exactly what it is, and it may not even be illegal. It just may be unethical.
Thank you. Yes.
Sometimes, without saying much more, you have to leave situations like that. I'll leave it at that.
I agree.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what happened with them. I don't know. So I guess I went from, hey, this sounds like a horrible idea. Plus, let's be 100% open and honest about it too. We actually reached out to them before we knew that they were going to have a podcast and asked them to be on ours. And they said, no, not at this time. We're thinking about doing a podcast. So I have a little bit of a personal deal with, oh, well, that really sucks because we kind of wanted you guys to come out here and just tell us what's going on. I get it that you're doing it on your own. But I don't know. Maybe I come at it the wrong way, and maybe you can change my mind. Maybe I'll check it out and see what it's all about and go from there. I don't know. Like I said, I have no hate for him.
Yeah. But I guess for me, being within the community since, like 2 weeks in, I don't know how to put it, because it's kind of crazy, because you'd think that I would be the one that would be like, well, you don't want to come on ours? Well, I'm not going to watch yours. Like, I honestly, like, I would expect that more out of me. However, as a holder of Safemoon for such a long time, I really was like, I want to know what the hell happened inside.
Yeah, I guess
I really wanted to know.
The way my brain works is that it's over, it's done with. I don't really care. That's just kind of how I live my life. Like, once you get out of that chapter, it's like, okay, I'm not spending any more energy on that. There's so many other things I can spend my energy on, but I do like to be entertained. So if it's has some sort of entertainment value to it, we might be all right.
Hold on.
Oh, here we
What?
go.
All I can think about now is this would be an appropriate time. Was it Juju's little video that he made?
Where's John?
Where's John?
Where's John?
Where is he?
Where's
I
Juju?
I mean, this would be perfect.
Damn,
should play
Juju
it.
was awesome.
Where is he?
Juju was
I haven't
awesome.
seen
Where
him
are you,
forever.
John?
It's been like weeks, or not weeks, but months. I had reached out to him, and he was like, oh, I'm just laying low. And he had said, he's working on some stuff. And then I think just with everything with Safemoon, because that's like what everything was revolved around Safemoon for him. He's probably like, well, damn, why do I need to go back? Like, what am I going back to?
Well, same with Safemoon Night.
I miss that guy.
Where did he go?
I was just thinking about that.
No, the videos. Did I say his name wrong?
No.
The Batman videos?
Safemoon Night.
Yeah.
Oh, did he stop making them? Well, I don't know what you're going to make him about.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I don't know either. I haven't seen any of the videos, so I don't know if he stopped making them or not. I watched the beginning of one.
Yes, the swap chains.
No, It's the voice for me. I can't do it. Like,
It was too
I'm
much.
sure he's like a great guy. And like, honestly,
Yeah,
and you
it's
can
a
say that
lot.
about me. Like, my voice sounds like I'm still sick. Like, you could say that about me, but I just couldn't get past it.
Aw, you
Like,
sound just
I
fine.
don't know. No.
It's Caleb. That's the one. That's why we keep him quiet.
That's why we don't
We
let
mute
him
him.
talk.
Yeah.
Because he's got like a voice of like a 10-year-old girl.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just joking.
Well,
So I just want to
He's a
update you
bully,
guys.
is what he is. That's how I bought a lot of my crypto.
So
Kills
I want to
banging.
update you.
Yeah, update
It's
us.
17-10, the Lions, with 3 minutes left in the third.
Who are you rooting for?
You know what? I'm going for the Lions. I want to see the Lions, like, I mean, because they haven't, this is their first,
Oh, we
they
got our
won a
train.
playoff game for, oh yeah, I hear it. I actually hear it this time. But wasn't it like 30 some years that they didn't, wasn't it 32 years, you guys?
It was a lot.
Like that. Yeah.
They have
It was
sucked for a
32
long.
years.
That they can't win. Hey, are we
Oh,
ever
they're
going to
gonna
find
win
out
now.
what 32 means?
No, I don't think anybody actually.
That's what somebody
like, 'cause
needs to ask Hayden and Jonah. What's 32 mean? That's the only question I need answered. That's it.
Yeah, I don't know.
care
Yeah.
about anything else.
I'm with you there.
Well, but they said because, and I don't even think this is true, but they said that the day that March 2nd was the day that Safemoon was launched, but I don't think that would be significant to John because he wasn't
He wasn't there.
like the owner or the
No.
founder of Safemoon. So to me, like for him to be throwing 32 around like it's like candy, I don't think that's something that's significant enough to him because he wasn't part of it. Or he was part of it, just not the
Yeah.
owner, founder, CEO, or any of that. So
You kind of got to think that he knew some of this was coming, though. Do you think they was just grasping at straws and just trying to hype? It was just a hype train.
well, I can tell you that, like, you know, that Area 32 chat that he was in, he was part of an Area 32 chat on Twitter. It was like a group chat. He spent 4 hours with them in the chat the day he got arrested. He was posting like pictures of him in uniform. He was saying things like, "I bleed Safemoon." And so I'm wondering, was he like prepping them? Because he knew he was getting arrested. He knew, you
Oh,
guys.
yeah.
I'm no doubt in
Yeah,
my
yeah.
mind. So was he prepping these Area 32 people of what was to come?
I don't
Or
know.
using them to get a good word out?
Super inclusive
What's the-
group.
what's the
I couldn't
odds
be
of
able to
him?
tell you.
What,
What's the
Caleb?
Yeah.
odds of him getting sentenced for 32 years?
Could
Dude, if
you
he does,
even
we're making
imagine?
T-shirts.
Well-
We're making T-shirts if he does.
So, is this like some
I cannot
conspiracy? Now
imagine.
the CIA owns everything, or what?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Oh, dude, I've heard
I
so
don't know.
many different conspiracies on.
Have
It's
you
gotta
actually
be.
heard that?
Oh, I've seen it on X.
no,
where people,
I just came up with it.
Oh well, no, I've seen it where that was the whole deal. Like with his background in the CIA and with his parents and things like that. That they're actually doing this so that the holders will go away, and when they come back, they can launch it. It's going to be a government thing, and I'm like, come
Really?
on.
So,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
I mean, I
listen to
thought
this.
about it.
So in the barbershop space, that's funny that you said that because now I'm really starting to wonder. There was someone in the barbershop space that actually said that John was weeding out investors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
And
my
I- and
first
I-
thought was
and
CIA.
And I actually said, am I getting this like correct? Like, am I hearing you the right way? Because I was like, wait, he's going to weed out investors, holders, people putting money into his project?
Yeah.
Does that seem crazy?
That sounds like something somebody would say whenever they still have money in it.
I wouldn't think that is the case.
No.
But wasn't this technology that his mom had
Who in
some
their
part
right
of?
mind would not want anybody and everybody to invest in their project or business? Like, you don't pick and choose, do you?
At some level,
Well,
maybe, but not
yeah,
necessarily
the
the way
global
they're
elites
talking about
do.
it. Yeah, but you're talking about more zeros than John Cronin can dream of in the
Yeah.
global elites. Like, they
Yeah.
don't care about anything because they can buy billions of dollars of things and not even notice that money's gone.
Was
So,
this an acquisition of stolen property by the government?
That maybe is possible with all the lawsuits between him and his parents and things like that, but I don't. I honestly think the technology that everybody was talking about with Safemoon was not as awesome as what people said and what people were leading us on to believe that it was. Just my thought.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know
Everybody
either.
just find it up.
But I like conspiracy.
Yeah, I guess, like, honestly, the one thing I want to know is, because there are several people that are still like saying, Safemoon isn't dead. I really, really want to know what makes them believe that, and what does that look like? Because Safemoon is being
Dismantled.
like this, yeah, altogether. So how?
Well,
my
what are you
fear is that
supporting?
belief comes from desperation. That's
I can tell. I'm not holding it because I'm desperate. I can tell you that.
no,
Like,
you're
I
holding
know
it because
that
you're
some of-
lazy.
Yeah,
I
like
knew
I
it.
know that.
We've already established that, Greg.
Hold on. Is it still tracking? Can you still track it on CoinMarketCap? Actually,
No, I mean you
can't? I
can.
don't-
It's still there. It's just frozen.
Yeah,
Is it frozen?
There's nothing to. Yeah.
You
No.
can't-
Okay.
Did they
It's
delist
still
it from
no.
CMC?
I got it pulled up right here. It's still active and going. So I mean, it's not dead until it's dead.
No, somebody
what I
brought
mean?
up a good point. They said it's not over until or I can't say the word.
The fat
now.
lady sings.
Yeah, but until
There
the
you go.
judge slams his hammer down, they can't. It's not
Right.
over because we don't know exactly what's going to happen. I get all that, but no one's putting money in anything called Safemoon again. Okay, I can't say no one. Big money is not going into Safemoon.
No,
No-
especially like this is like tarnished.
Banks are not
Like-
investing in SafeMoon. You know,
It would
I
just
feel
be
like
corrupt
even
politicians.
if and I feel like even if John Caroni is found innocent, that trust is completely shattered.
yeah. I hope that the
And
people that
I'm
have
not-
tokens that everything that everyone's speculating happens, and I hope everybody gets rich. But I'll never put another dime in it. And if for some reason there was something out there that could change my mind, at this moment I could buy more tokens than I had before for way less than what I had in it. So I don't know.
What if Elon buys it off the government? Would you invest in it?
I wouldn't.
Wait, but what are they buying? Because SafeMoon is no more. What are just the tech? It's not going to
Yeah.
be called SafeMoon blockchain or SafeMoon is done. The
Done,
name
yeah.
is done.
The rumors that I'm hearing out there with the peer-to-peer payment systems on X, that's going to be done before he could ever acquire SafeMoon anyways. So I think there's 3 other tokens that you should be stocking up on, but I will not tell you what they are because I do not want people to lose money on my behalf. But
Yeah, don't.
I won't. So listen, we've been talking for about an hour. We want to do Caleb's choice and then call it a day.
Time
Sure.
for Caleb.
Let's do it.
It's time for Caleb's choice.
His choice.
His rules.
All right. If you could time travel, would you travel to the past or the future?
Ooh, that's a
And why?
good question.
That's a really good question.
The past.
Why?
Oh, why?
It's a
because-
two-parter, Greg. Jeez.
Dang.
Well, because I feel like if I've traveled into the past, I think history repeats itself. So I kind of see the future in the same. But I'd love to go back and see how, like, humanity started, and I want to see if they had higher tech back then in the past than we do now.
Like when
I'm
they're
curious.
building
Ooh, that's a
pyramids.
good. I'm curious, so I'm going to
Yeah.
let you go to the past and tell me about it because I'm going to the future.
Well, that's my question:
Like-
is do we get to come back to our current time,
Right.
or are we stuck there?
Sure, you can come back.
No, we need to come
allow
back.
it.
Maybe the people in the past could time travel as well. So then I could go back and then have them help me get
Hmm.
forward.
Okay,
I
that
want to
works.
see the stargates and all that from the pyramids and stuff.
I feel like I want to do the future because I want to know. Yes, I want to know about the pyramids too. Anyway, I want to go to the future
Mhm.
because I want to know if we're still living on Earth or where are we living?
Mars.
Yeah, is global warming real? Is it really like gonna, that I want to know?
No, it's not.
But she
Stop
definitely
it.
find out.
Yeah.
Well, see, and that's the
I
thing.
think
Like,
global
I want
warming
all
is
my
a
answers.
scam in itself. Maybe that's a conversation for another day, but I think that's just a money scam.
I do too. I agree with that.
Well, and I have
What?
conversations all the time about, well, according, in year 2090, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm not even going to get around to even know if that's going to happen. Like, that sucks. Don't tell me about it. I don't even get to know.
See, your guys' curiosity is way better than mine.
See-
I don't think in that same realm. I'm just saying, send me to the future. I'm going to come back. I'm going to be rich. And then I'm going to help as many people as I possibly can with that money that I made on knowing who won the next 50 Super Bowls.
Can write it down.
You're good.
Kind of like
He's
Back to
using
the
his-
Future.
Money is not power.
I didn't say it was
actually.
power, but you know how many
Right,
people I
right.
could help and how many people I could
Energy.
feed and how many people
Oh,
I could
well,
house and all
I
that
mean,
stuff
yeah.
by knowing who won the next 50 Super Bowls.
All right, fine. You're-
Energy is
Like
crazy.
probably I would get thrown in jail because I would make so much money on betting on sports, but it would be like a weird Robin Hood thing where I would take it from all the Vegas sports books and then give it to all the poor people. Still be driving my my Sabre.
There you go. All right. Next question.
Question.
Name something on your bucket list.
Travel to the path. No, I'm just joking.
I only have one thing on my bucket list.
What's on your bucket
What?
Hear it.
To visit every state in the United States.
Oh, some
The
of
only
them
thing I
are
wanna
overrated.
I know. I know.
Like
I know.
Arizona?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm just joking. I'm sorry. That just came out. I'm being a
Damn it,
doucher. Like Missouri.
Douchebag.
There you go.
No, I'm trying to figure out like what am I gonna do in like Idaho?
Eat potatoes.
Eat potatoes.
No, I'm like I might as well
Right.
go like watch
Eating
Boise in football and make football out of all these different states or
Ooh.
some. That I mean, because why else would I go to some of these places?
Well, we went to Boise, Idaho to watch Caleb play college basketball.
Yeah.
And we
Okay.
See,
skied
maybe
there.
that's what I do.
Football potatoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're good.
Oh my gosh, we didn't even get into football talk, and I have so much.
So next week will all be football.
So, what was your answer, Greg? Bucket list.
Man, bucket list.
I want to know your guys' answers.
I would say, I used to say go to space or get shot up into space, but I'd hit the dome, so that ain't possible. So I'm gonna say, I would like, I would like to travel across the ocean, like on a sailboat. Like,
Can you guys hear
maybe
my
not
dog
all the way-
snoring?
Mm-mm.
My dog barking.
She stopped. Go ahead.
like
a sailboat,
maybe from
really
like,
across the ocean in a sailboat?
yeah,
That
give me a
seems
Starlink
sucky.
satellite or get me a Starlink internet, get me a sailboat,
So you can still watch
get my dog.
YouTube and do
Yes.
the podcast.
Do I
feel
do
that-
the
if you
podcast,
sailed across-
all that.
Sick.
If you sailed across that in a sailboat and we did the podcast, we'd probably get 50 views.
Yeah,
Hey, let's
Maybe.
do it.
I would like to do that though. From California to South Korea or something like that. Not like all the way around. Just a
Actually,
good
North
little.
Korea.
Yeah.
That's probably where I'd end up. I'd be like, shoot, this is my first time.
They won't care.
Have mercy.
What's your bucket list?
I have Dogecoin. Can you take that?
There you go.
They won't know what Dogecoin is. They don't have real Google.
Yeah.
What's your bucket list item, Caleb?
I'm gonna go
Yeah.
Scotland.
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 That's a good one.
Scotland.
Scotland.
Wow, Scotland, eh?
Yeah.
You guys
Do
are
they
gonna.
say A?
What?
No, I don't think they do.
I don't.
Do
think
they say A over there too?
Greg
I don't
just
know.
makes stuff up.
Oh,
You guys are gonna hate me for
What's
this,
yours,
but
Josh?
I don't have a bucket list item.
Yeah, you do.
I don't. I'm
Vegas.
very content with my life now. I don't have a bucket list item.
Here's your bucket list item. You're gonna wake up halfway across my sailboat.
No, that
Adventure.
Well, stop your story right now.
I'm gonna be like,
It's just for
I'm gonna be
kids.
like-
Watch this, Greg.
I'm gonna be like, surprise! Your bucket list is now my bucket list too. So there you go.
Hey, if that
You can
happened,
join
if I
me.
woke up surprised in the middle of the sea on your sailboat, only one of us is going to see dry land again. I promise. We're going to find out. We're going to find out real fast.
I'll be like, it's okay, Josh. I got food and Starlink. We're good. We're good.
Oh my God.
I don't know about all that. I don't think we're good.
Oh,
Mm-mm.
but there's a storm coming. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Last question. Which of your 5 senses is your strongest one?
Spider senses.
Okay.
I have 2, and I think they're equally like strong, and it's my hearing and my smell. And it's a curse. The hearing, not so much. I'm okay with it, but the smell, I can smell everything, and it sucks. It sucks.
That's not
It's sticky.
And I actually used to have to do hearing tests at work for a job I used to work at. And the guy, every time, I worked there for 10 years, and every single year he's like, nobody's talking about you because you're going to hear it. Like, nobody's talking behind your back because my hearing is stupid crazy.
So,
But, yeah.
what? I'll be the dumb one. What are the 5 senses?
Smell, sight, hearing,
Taste.
Taste.
taste,
Touch.
and touch.
Yeah.
Oh, touch is the 5th? Okay.
My hearing's not good.
Mine's going back.
Probably my eyesight. I would say
By
my
taste
eyes.
is mine.
Really?
What's
Not
yours,
mine. Mine is
Caleb?
By taste.
I have zero reasoning behind this answer,
Touch.
but I think mine is touch.
Really?
I really
You
do.
can feel everything?
Yes.
Spider-Man.
Do you spidey senses?
Yeah.
Do you blindfold yourself and walk around and touch stuff?
No, but I can walk through my house and tell you exactly where I'm at in the dark just by how the floor feels. I don't
You're gonna
know.
be like, boom, yep, I'm at the wall.
I don't know. But see, there's got to be more senses than
touch.
just those 5 because I can also like sense things that are happening. Like
Oh,
I don't know how to explain
Spidey's-
that part.
that's your
Intu-
spidey sense.
That's
That's called
sort of like
intuition.
that.
That's intuition.
Now my intuition is actually spot on, but
intuition.
yeah, I don't
Mine
really know where to
usually
go with
is,
that because I don't have the vocabulary to explain what I'm trying to say. But
Face
Yeah.
touch. Boom.
yeah, face touching. All right, Holly, do you have a question for us today?
Yes. If you were a fruit, which would you be and why?
Josh
Greg is
is
a
several. We were on.
I said it
we were-
before you. Makes me right.
No.
What is it?
I said Greg
What'd you
is a
call him?
fruit.
He'd be a
Family.
What kind of fruit would I be?
wow.
Mm-hmm.
A jackfruit.
Oh.
Which is nasty.
Josh is nasty.
Nasty.
Jackfruit or are you a jackfruit?
No, I'm not jackfruit.
Josh.
I think that's from like the Philippines or something, isn't it?
I've never heard of it, Greg.
Well, your buddy Alan's the one that got me to try it.
This is the only thing that pops in my brain.
Kiwi.
You're a kiwi?
That's
I'm a
what I
kiwi.
am. Hmm.
Oh,
Why, Greg? Why? What's your reasoning behind a kiwi?
I like kiwis. I don't know. And green's
Because
my
it's
favorite color.
favorite.
Mm.
And it's gritty. It's gritty. I'm gritty.
Oh,
you know
'cause you're
the
gritty.
seeds. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't think about that, but okay. My reasoning is
She
because
doesn't believe a
kiwis.
word of what you just said, Greg.
I could tell. I
I
could
just
tell.
really like.
Yeah. Thank you for yeah.
She's like, not happening.
I do. Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm. I chose kiwi for myself because kiwi's sweet, but it has a little bit of sour in it, and so you don't know what you're gonna get. At the
never know
end,
what
there's
you're
some
gonna
sour. Uh-uh.
I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
See, my reasoning for what fruit I am is going to sound really cheesy now that you just said what you said, Holly. But I am a lemon because most of the time
Mm.
people think I am sour. But
Mm.
if you put some sugar
Sugar.
on it, it's
Does-
not too bad.
Does your wife know she bought
Ah.
a lemon?
Yeah, she does. But she loves me
Aw.
anyways, so it's pretty cool.
You know what? That's a good explanation of it. I could see that, Josh. Honestly, I
Most
can see
people
that.
walk up to me and they won't talk to me because they think I'm mad or mean or violent or I don't know what it is.
Violet.
And then once we
That's
start
a bitch
talking,
face.
they're like, I have this all the time with teenage girls because I coach girls basketball. They're like, I thought you were going to be so mean. I thought you were
Well,
going to
'cause
be
you have
nasty.
that,
And I'm
like-
like, yeah, I can be,
I can see
but
that.
that's not who I
He's really
am.
mean.
Mm.
He's
Well,
really
because
mean.
when you're like just your resting face, you kind of your eyebrows kind of are down, and you
RBF.
like you look a little like yes, like a resting bitch face.
RBF.
Like
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
I wouldn't go with resting bitch because I don't feel like
I would.
that. No, it's just like the grumpy old man, like the grouchy man, like just.
Yeah, that's what everybody thinks.
I could see that.
But you know what?
RG, RGMF.
That's pretty cool though. Like in a restaurant when you're trying to have like a private dinner or something like that, people don't come up and just talk to you just for the sake of talking to you because they're like, oh. But other times it's
Yeah.
like, wait, why are you asking me this question? Like, why do you think I'm evil or what? Like, I don't get it.
Like Josh totally reminds me of Gran Torino, how he sits on his porch. Get off my
Gran
lawn.
Torino.
My favorite movie.
Yes.
One of my favorite
Yeah,
movies of
yeah.
all time.
Oh, we lost her.
She's gone. Man, she's
What is that?
Right.
What does he call that boy? Like
Would you
fish
lose power?
I accidentally went to mute my mic so that I can cough, and it's right by the hang up.
You're like, disconnect.
Caleb, what's
Yeah, it's
yours?
over. I just have to say the fruit I eat the most is banana. So I'll just say banana.
Banana.
Mm.
What? Why? Just because? Is there any more to
That's what I
why?
eat the most. Yeah.
You are
Yeah.
what you eat. I get it. You are what you eat.
Sure.
There's got to be some more reason
can't-
behind this.
I
I'm
can't
trying to
be
think
the
of
only
something.
one.
But probably bad.
I can't. Yeah, let's move on.
All right. So have you guys watched the show Ancient Aliens? Have you guys ever
The
seen?
crazy hair dude, yes.
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 Mhm.
Gotta love the
I've
crazy
never
hair
watched
dude.
it.
So do you think that there were ancient aliens or ancient people that landed on this earth and like manipulated men into working for them? Like the whole premise is the Anunnaki arrived on this earth in ancient times, built the pyramids, everything we see, and created man to or manipulated men to like basically mine gold for them. And that's where they started worshiping sky gods. And you have all these depictions.
Hmm.
You think
So-
that is a possibility. And that
Aliens or
one day they
aliens?
were I don't know. We'll just say unknown at the moment. You decide what you think on that. But that's where all these ancient myths come from. The pantheon of gods. That's the whole idea behind that. And that one day they said they will return. And do you think that they're going to return someday soon? And that's why we're getting all these alien sightings again.
It's a lot of questions.
Bless you. That is a lot of questions. So, like,
So is this something we're
History
supposed to think about till next week?
Yeah, there we go. Right
okay,
before-
yeah, we could do that.
Come back.
So, like, Planet X is coming back around and the Anunnaki are going to arrive again.
All right.
Okay.
To be continued.
What?
All
We
the
have-
ancient gods.
This podcast is not supposed to have homework attached to it. So, what
All right, well-
out of all those questions do you want answered, Greg?
Do
Josh has the
you?
answer.
Okay. Have you guys ever heard of the Anunnaki?
Yes.
Okay. Do you So my question is for next time, do some research. Do you believe that that was a
I'm
true?
not doing homework, Greg.
You're doing it.
No, I'm
Damn
not.
it.
I'm not
Damn
doing
it.
homework.
Do you think that that is a true story based on the ancient Sumerian like stories?
Hmm.
Do you believe ancient people saw something and recorded it, or do you think they were just idiots and was making up a story?
Yes.
Which one?
Do you believe that they were seeing something? They were actually intelligent and they were writing what they were seeing, or
I
that
think
they
it
were
was a
just
little
like
bit of
getting
both.
high on drugs and making up stories?
My guess is a little bit of both. I think
Just
it
for
was.
entertainment.
Well, I think probably what it was is how many times have you seen something in the sky as a young child that you couldn't explain?
Right.
Like a comet. If you saw a falling star and you were 5 and there was no one there to tell you what that was, your imagination could go wild, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to remember there's no research that can be done. You can't Google it if your parents have never seen it. And a lot of times, depending on what years we're talking about, sometimes life expectancy wasn't even that long. So some people may have lived and never even seen a comet. So now all of a sudden there's a meteor shower, or I think it's very possible. Go ahead.
Life expectancy was, I mean, what in the biblical sense?
Well, but that's what I mean. It depends
700
on
to
when you're
800
talking
years.
about it. Yeah, but it depends on when we're talking that this happened. And were the pyramids around in Egypt when Moses was in Egypt?
I believe so. I think they were here pre-flood. And who built them? Because we can't even do it now. Not to that precision.
That's my thing.
People say we can't do that now. I have a hard time believing that. I really do. With all of the laser guided things that we have, we can't build a pyramid out of rocks.
Well, they can't even finish Crazy Horse statue. You know about that, right?
Is that the carving?
Yes, it's been going on for a long, long, long time.
Yeah, but I can't remember why they can't finish it. Why couldn't they finish it?
I don't know.
I read that. I thought it had something to do with the access.
But when have they in modern times built anything like the pyramids?
They've built skyscrapers.
Oh, yeah.
Those buildings in Dubai are like...
But there's like precise etching and like... I don't know. I've had that same question for a really long time. How the hell did they do that with some chisel? Like,
yeah.
I think they had all the time they ever needed to do it, because what else are they going to do during those times besides hunt and eat and have babies? They weren't sitting around on their iPhones.
How did they lift them?
I don't know. I've seen Amish people live 3-story houses and move them 3 miles down the road on logs. So I have no idea.
But this is stone.
I don't know. I feel like there's an explanation behind that. That's just me. I don't know. I'm not right about everything, even though you think I am, Greg.
I'm not either.
Oh, we know.
I knew you guys. I jump on that. I knew that was gonna.
Well, I can't believe nobody jumped on what I said. I just threw that little softball out there, and nobody crushed it out of the park for a grand slam.
I paused to wait for it.
Yeah. I don't know. I know these things are things that you wonder about and are curious about. I'm not curious about it. I don't know. I'm just not.
Well,
I think
research and come back next week.
I am not doing homework.
Do research.
Nope.
I think if you know the truth about the past, you'll know more about the future.
I know I know what I need to know about the future. I don't care about any of the rest of it.
All right.
I know how it ends.
All right.
So that's all that matters to me.
True.
The rest of it's the journey.
The journey.
The adventure.
To there and back again. To There and Back Again by Josh Gordon.
I'm not writing a book.
I thought you wrote it.
I did, but not on paper. It's all up here.
Uh-oh.
So we can agree then next week It's
Yeah,
going to be pretty much a football episode
Mm-hmm.
Foosball.
with maybe some, hopefully, talking about Dogecoin being 50 cents and how we're all rich again.
That would be fun.
Okay. But until that time, everybody have a great
Cheers.
weekend, and God bless.
Be kind.
I'm Caleb. Please like and subscribe.